All right, everybody. I am excited. We're live. We got a ton of people cycling into the room. So welcome, welcome. We are so excited to bring this content to you. We're going to be talking about Azure Government Virtual Machines. Now, the alternative. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You can probably already tell. My favorite. Some people say I wear my heart on my sleeve. I do, right? I mean, when you know a solution is better, you want to tell people about it. Azure Virtual Machines. Okay, this is the real deal, right? So this is not some canned sort of easy button that Microsoft created as a licensing add-on. This is an Azure Virtual Machine that you are paying for as you use it. So number one, you're not going to pay for the machine if it's turned off. Pretty awesome. You might pay for storage. I think that's it. Very minimal costs. You're only going to pay for resources that you use. So again, we call it pay-as-you-go pricing. For most companies, their employees are only going to be on their computers 8 to 10 hours a day. We can set up scripts and settings to shut the computer down if it's been idle for more than, say, 30 or 40 minutes or an hour. That will save you 16 hours a day worth of processing time. That's a lot of money. Multi-user capable. On these machines, we can have as many users log into that session as we need to. We just simply enable multi-user session or multi-sessions. And then all of a sudden, one machine can support up to 10 users. And yes, it's secure. And no, you can't get to the other users' files on the machines. Again, we take care of all of that during setup. This creates enormous efficiency at scale. Like I said, not unusual for us to be putting between 6 and 10 users onto a virtual machine. You just pay for one machine. All users get access to it. Now, this is maybe my favorite. You notice back on this diagram here, we had the word host pool. Okay. Here's something that I love about the idea of Azure Virtual Machines. You can have a host pool of, let's say, 10 computers, and they can all be turned off except the first one. Users log into the first one. When resource utilization begins to max out, we can set it up so that Azure Government will automatically spin up that second machine and start load balancing users onto it. Amazing. Especially if you start having a more mid-sized company with, say, 10 to 20 users that need to be in this enclave or larger. This is incredible. Really, really incredible because you're only paying for the resources that are actually being used, and Microsoft helps you do it in the most efficient way. Not limited. There are no limitations. You can do whatever you need to do. You can build out your whole entire infrastructure in here. You can build as many servers and computers as you want. You can have 1,000 computers if you want, 10,000 computers if you want, no problem. One computer if you want, that's okay too. Again, there's no limitations. You can have computers that are not tied to user accounts, right? So if you need to delete and swap out users, which happens all the time in business, then you don't have to do anything with that machine. And you can very easily go recover that data and move it over to a new user or whatever is appropriate in that scenario. So no limitations. They can connect to anything. They can do anything a regular virtual machine can do. Now, cost differences in annual versus pay-as-you-go. First off, Azure Virtual Machines on the pay-as-you-go model, you pay monthly for what you used. Okay. If you're asking us at OnCall, we charge a 20% management fee. That is, we take your bill from Microsoft. Okay. We add 20%, and that's what you get billed. And we have transparent pricing. We will show you the actual bill from Microsoft. No problem at all. Okay, that's what we charge to manage. AOSG licensing for a Microsoft 365 virtual machine, you're going to pay a year up front. There is no opportunity to try to achieve any efficiency at scale. If you were doing this on your own, I'd say that's the way to go. If you're doing it with a professional company like us that knows how to realize the efficiencies, well, I think the choice is obvious. You want to go with the Azure Virtual Machines, and you want to go with on-call managing it. Again, we will more than pay for ourselves. What else can I tell you? That's really the big cost difference, right? Can you actually have it be cheaper with 365 virtual machines? In my opinion, no. I think we're at the point now where the reality is, especially if let me back up. If you have one or two or three users, it is possible that the 365 virtual machines could maybe be more cost effective. That is absolutely possible. However, we only have a few instances where that is the case. In most instances, we can achieve greater efficiency using one virtual machine with shared sessions, privately shared sessions, and that will typically offset any kind of real cost savings there. Again, we're much bigger fans of the Azure Virtual Machine method. It also doesn't have to go through an AOSG partner. It is like direct Microsoft billing through a billing partner. Again, I don't want to get into the amazingly complex world of Microsoft billing. We'll just all kind of take it for granted that there are different ways Microsoft bills, and I prefer the Azure Virtual Machines because it winds up being more cost effective. Again, the only other cost to consider is there's a 20% management fee no matter what solution you're going with here that we charge every month to manage all of this mess for you. Whew. Now, deciding which kind of virtual machines might be right for my organization, right? Do we want simplicity or do we need more complexity? Again, the simpler solution is the 365 licenses, but there are some bad things with that, like paying a year up front. Then we have capability. Now, this is where I think we really shine. We come in and we make the more capable and more cost-effective solution of Azure Virtual Machines work for you. There is an option to pay annually versus pay as you go. For most companies, that's a big deal. Not all, but most. One virtual machine, many users, is a dramatic efficiency increase. That's the number one reason why we're obsessed with the idea of doing this the right way. By the way, much more complicated for our team on the back end of things, I will candidly tell you, but that's not a big deal. Backup, recovery, and control. I will say 365 virtual machines that come with the AOSG licensing. The backup is integral. It's guaranteed. It does its thing, and that's a good peace of mind to have. However, anytime we set up anything that is going to operate in the Azure government environment, we are backing it up. And the actual cost of backup is just the space used. And so as a result, actually backup and recovery can be faster and easier and more cost effective, especially when you're talking about doing this at scale with more than, say, 5 or 10 machines. So I think backup, recovery, and control, we're pretty even there. Do you need a VPN, firewall, or advanced connectivity between your local network and Azure government? Now, this is a place where we do have some decisions. So it is very difficult to take a 365 virtual machine and get it to work like a normal virtual machine and connect into your local VPN. If they need to access, if those government machines need to access resources on your local network, work with a firewall, that kind of stuff. In those situations, you really want to have a normal pay-as-you-go virtual machine. Okay. The canned approach just doesn't work as well, and sometimes can't work with that method. So again, we got to be careful about how we're architecting the solution. Flat rate versus usage. Normally people are afraid of this variable usage cost. We have a worst case scenario pricing that we will give to you and say your bill will not be more than this. And we will do everything we can to make your efficiency and usage cheaper. But here's going to be the worst case for your bill. Overall price, again, every situation is a little different. We want to talk to you. We want to learn what you've got specifically going on. Generally speaking, if you've got more than 3 to 5 users, almost always the regular virtual machine is going to be better as opposed to the 365 virtual machine. Again, every scenario is different, so we want to be careful there.